Hi everyone and welcome to this last video on organization. If you haven't already checked the previous videos about this topic, then I suggest you go check them out. I've created a playlist with all the videos on my channel. Since I have now finished teaching half of paper 1, I'll be releasing a video on top tips you need to know before starting year 10 or 11. So if you like the sound of that, please go support this channel by clicking the subscribe button right now. Okay, so let's get on with the video then. Firstly, we'll be looking at the xylem and phloem tissues in detail. I went over these in detail in my specialized cell video, so this is the same exact slide. So, in xylem vessels transport water and mineral ions from the leaves, and they contain hollow tubes. So, xylem vessels are hollow tubes made from dead cells. They also contain something called lignin to strengthen the walls of the cell. And in xylem vessels, water only moves up in one direction. So now we'll look at phloem vessels. So phloem vessels transport glucose from leaves to the rest of the plant. And they are also made from living cells and contain something called sieve plates to allow easy flow of sugars. And the movement of sugars is called translocation. And phloem vessels contain companion cells that have a lot of mitochondria to produce energy. So now we can see that translocation is just the flow of sugars, so that's all we need to know for GCSEs, but for transpiration we'll have to go into much more detail. So transpiration is the loss of water from the plant. So this is the definition, and you will need to know this for your exams, as they may come as 1 or 2 markers. So memorize or learn this definition. And transpiration is caused by the evaporation and diffusion of water from a plant surface. So most transpiration happens at the leaves. As we've seen in the last video, leaves contain stomata, hence most transpiration happens there. So this evaporation causes a slight shortage of water in the leaf, and so more water is drawn up from the rest of the plant through the xylem vessel to replace the water loss. So here's just a short diagram on what happens. So over here you can see that, so we'll have to go from top to bottom because first water evaporates. So here we can see water evaporates from the leaf surface, and then water travels through the plant to replace the water lost in the leaves, and since there's less water in the stem now, water is absorbed by the roots. So we have just come halfway through the video, so let me just stop and say that if you guys have liked this video so far and fully understand, please do subscribe and comment down below. Okay, so let's carry on. So the rate of transpiration and the factors that affect it. So firstly, there are 4 main factors that affect the rate of transpiration, and those are temperature, air movement, humidity, and light intensity. So if we go on temperature, we would see that the warmer the temperature is, so higher the temperature is, the faster transpiration happens. So when it's warm, the water particles have more energy to evaporate and diffuse out of the stomata. Next is air movement, such as wind, which is also called airflow. So the better the airflow around the leaf, for example, stronger wind, the greater the transpiration rate. So if the airflow around the leaf is poor, the water vapor just surrounds the leaf and doesn't move away. This means there's a high concentration of water particles outside the leaf as well as inside it, so diffusion doesn't happen as quickly. If there's a good airflow, the water vapor is swept away, maintaining a low concentration of water in the air outside the leaf. Diffusion then happens quickly from an area of high concentration to an area of low concentration. The third one we'll be looking at is humidity. So the drier the air around a leaf, the faster transpiration happens. So if the air is humid, there's a lot of water in it already, so there's not much of a difference between the inside and the outside of the leaf. Diffusion happens fastest if there's a really high concentration in one place and really low concentration in the other. And the last factor is light intensity. So the brighter the light, the greater the transpiration rate. So stomata begin to close as it gets darker, and photosynthesis can't happen in the dark, so they don't need to open to let CO2 in. So when the stomata are closed, very little water can escape. Hence, when the light is bright, greater the transpiration. Okay, so on to the exam question. This is quite easy as we just went through it, but please make sure not to go back. Let's try and do this from your memory. But if you can't, then don't worry, you can still go back and do this exercise. Okay, so this is the answer. And I'm trying something new this time, so here's an exam question which won't take long to complete. Please read this and comment down the answers below. So over here in the boxes, the words are already given, so you just need to fill or finish the sentence. It won't take long to complete, so please make sure to comment down the answers below this video, and I will also comment whether they are right or not. And also please make sure to comment if you have any questions or suggestions. And thanks for watching this video, and remember to stay tuned for my next special video which I mentioned at the beginning. It will be released next Wednesday.